Hey everyone, welcome to SquareMax Customs. We're going to do a little review on a plasma cutter I was sent from Bestarc. I don't know much about it. I've only used a couple plasma cutters in my whole life. They were a little bit more high end. This is more of like budget friendly for us backyard, people. We can't afford to spend thousands. I think this thing's like $250-ish. I'll leave a link for it in the description. Well, let's check it out. We'll get the box opened up. We're gonna check this out together. If I don't like it, I'll let you know. You gotta remember though, it's $250 or less compared to $1,000 plus. So we can't expect it to do crazy. It's a dual voltage, so that's cool. I like how they wrap the box. I don't know how your guys' delivery guys are, but our delivery guys here in Florida, they're quite rough. They just throw our stuff around or throw it in the field in the rain. Sorry if you're a Florida delivery guy and you're one of the good ones. So far it's packaged good. This is the Btc500dp model. Oh, I think they packaged this thing good enough it can get kicked around on the box. They must know how our shipping people are. Well, that's nice. I'm gonna tell you, the last one I used, whew, it felt like it weighed like 100 pounds. This one, I don't know, it probably tells us what it weighs, but it's not that heavy. So right off the bat, before we do anything, I really like how this already has the hookup for the air hose. That's cool, with a water separator. I like that a lot. Which also means it don't have a built-in air compressor, probably why it don't weigh 100 pounds. Nice little digital display screen. But it looks simple enough. They gave us some extra garage supplies. That's cool. I love free parts. And not too shabby. I mean, it ain't wicked crazy heavy or nothing, but it's a little machine. You can't expect a crazy one. It's got copper in here. It should get a good connection. Instructions. We got fittings. We got. Well, let me bring you in so you see. Looks like they about sent us with everything we need. I don't know yet. This is probably one of the best parts, and it's included for the price. I mean, these things are like $30 by themselves if you had to go buy one. It's an adapter. That way, if you don't have 220 or 240, plug it in to your regular outlet. I like that, simple enough. It don't come with 1,000 different items. Oh, isn't that cute, a little tool. Well, if that's all you need to hook up the thing, you can't really complain. It's got a decent length on it. I don't know how long it is, but let's check the instructions out. 50 amp pilot arc, 7 gen. Well, there's a bunch of info for anybody that wants to, tells you what you can cut for the thickness on 110, or what you can cut for 220. Tells you how to set it and everything. Suggested range for your air pressure. Seems pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple, which is good because, I mean, how many of us are actually going to go through the instructions? We're going to figure out how to hook this thing up and we're going to go, right? Here's something else that I thought was pretty neat. It comes with a little standoff plate. Got a little bounced around in shipping, but that's nothing. That's to be expected. It's got a little standoff plate so you can just set it on a piece. I got a bunch of metal. We're going to try to cut through all sorts of different stuff. I think I got a piece of aluminum. We got different metals. That's what I'm trying to say that we're going to try. We'll see how this thing works. I'm really curious. So I'm only going to run it on 110 because I don't have the right 220 plug for this little plasma cutter, which, to be honest with you, the majority of you all are probably going to run it on 110E too, because well, that's what we have. We plug it into our dang house and plas something out and have some fun. And for anybody that wants to see how it performs on the 220, there's a bunch of other videos out there on this that you can go check out. Well, let's get this thing plugged in and see what lights up. I don't have a fancy metal table, fellas. Just a simple, just like you guys. Well, maybe some of you do. If you do, that's cool. Eventually I'll get one. Well, power cord could be a little bit longer, I won't lie about that. Well, there's a switch on the back. Let's see what happens. Can you see the screen? Oh, it's making all sorts of noise. I gotta hook up the air tank still, but it's got adjustable air pressure right on the front. Pull it out, turn it to whatever you want it to, and push it back in, so that's pretty sweet. I didn't read the instructions quite yet. I figure we'll plug in what we can plug in, and then, you know, what we can't figure out, well, then we'll go back and we'll read the instructions. But they did send a nice set of instructions. So far, pretty simple. Can't really plug something into the wrong thing when it won't plug into it. I will say the packaging was heavy duty. The box, all the foam they put in it, everything's capped off nicely. Pretty impressed with that so far. Well, that's all hooked up. I guess we got to get some air to it. I don't know what this hose is for. I'm guessing maybe if you have an external air tank or something. They sent hose clamps too. And I believe most of these are just spare parts. The gun's already set up. So that's pretty neat. And like I said, it's got the hookup already for my air hose. So I'm just going to hook that up in there and see what happens. Well, let's plug the air and see what happens. 45 psi. So the first button right here, you press this and it'll kick the air on so you can sort of purge it and set your psi while the triggers, because it's going to be different if you set it now to when you pull the trigger. It's going to pop down. So instead of that, you can just hit this, set it for what you want, and then turn it off. Here's the cool thing about this. It's sort of dummy proof. It gives you a red and green zone so you can set it towards, you know, what you're doing. So that was your first button. Your second button is going to be for when you pull the trigger, this will stay on for 2T. If you put it to 4T, well, 2T, it'll shut off when you let off the trigger. Hit the trigger, it kicks on, let off the trigger, it shuts off. 4T, you'll pull the trigger and it'll stay on until you re-hit the trigger to shut it off. It'd be more like a actual torch. Don't use it as that. I don't recommend that. And then this last one is for post time and pilot arc time. So that's going to be for like perforated metal, you know, metal with holes in it. So instead of this thing turning off, you know, you cut one piece and it shuts off. You got to re-hit the trigger for it to light back up. You can set that to a time so it don't shut off. So you can come across that metal, and it won't shut off every time you hit a hole. So that's pretty neat for a cheap little plasma cutter to have all them options. Here's the list. This is what I'm looking at. You can pause the screen at any point to read it better. So the cool thing about a plasma cutter is these things are supposed to cut all sorts of different metals, from aluminum to steel to, you know, whatever. It's supposed to do the job. So I don't know, let's see if it'll do it together. So real quick, we're gonna set the, you know, the post time and the pilot arc time. The post time is gonna be for how long the air pressure stays on after you're done using it. That's something you really wanna think about, because the longer you leave it on, the better it's gonna cool your tip off, the longer these things are gonna last. If you just have it so that thing shuts off all the time, this thing's always gonna stay hot every time you use it. So we're gonna play with that real quick. And that one will be the post time. Right now it's set to 3 seconds. I'm gonna set it to 6. And then we're gonna go to the pilot arc time. That's the one for how long this stays on after you let off the trigger. That's also set for 5 seconds. That's fine with me. Let's see how that works. We'll change it when we get to that type of metal. I don't know what amperage we should have this on. It gives you a suggested range for air pressure. Here's the cool thing, you lose this thing, no big deal. You know, they're pretty smart. They put it on top of the machine for you. So you don't have to worry about carrying this around or keeping it, you know. Just sort of go through it real quick and get your, you know, get an ideal for it and then toss it out. So let's start with something. I got it set to 25 amp. I don't know how it's gonna work. It's on a 110 outlet. We can turn it up or down if we have to, but we're not gonna find out if we don't play with it. Let's start with a piece of diamond plate aluminum. Curious how it'll do. We'll cut the smooth side on the back first, and then we'll flip it over and check the bumpy side out. And the ground cable is pretty long for what it is. That's surprising. Make sure you got your safety. You don't want to burn your eyeballs out. It's all safe. It's safety. Make sure you know, flip your trigger or rip it off. That's up to you. Don't do what I said. Alright, let's see what happens. Hold up. Let's throw this on there so we can get a somewhat straight line, maybe. I didn't do too bad if I didn't screw it all up. Let's try that again. Work with me. Stay with me. I'm just your average Joe here, people. That didn't do too bad, and I didn't adjust nothing. I just went to town on it. That did pretty good. I like it so far. Well, let's flip this thing over and try the other side. Hey, you should be wearing gloves. It's funny, I got a straight edge on it, and either side of this diamond plate's straight. That's okay. Yes, I know. Just trying to cheat and use the clamp to hold down the... Look, that's gonna work. Safety first. Maybe if you can get it on. Alright, let's try again. Let's turn this up just a little bit here. Alright. That was so much easier than a grinder. If you ever cut aluminum with a grinder, like, it works good for a second, then it like gunks up. That's just slag. It don't look like it's gonna come off hard at all. Oh no, it comes right off with my hand. That's not bad at all. Can you guys see that? That's a piece of aluminum. So that's pretty cool. It's not wicked thick, but still. All right. That was neat. That's gonna come in handy. I had a heck of a time cutting this round circle out to fit a gauge cluster in it on one of my builds. Try a thin piece of galvy. We probably turn this thing way down. We're not gonna. We're just gonna leave it on full blast. Why not? It's not. It's like quarter blast. I got it set 47 PSI, which says it's in the red zone. But when you're purging the air, it goes down to 40. That's what we'll set it at, because it's in the high green at 25 amps. Let's see what she does. Oh, that's gonna be nice once I actually figure out how to use it nicely. Yeah, I like this thing, peeps. For the price, I mean, we haven't got to nothing thick yet, but that's pretty neat. Let's try again. Oh no, now look at, my wife's gonna make me do all sorts of little metal decorative things. That's pretty freaking cool. I definitely wouldn't have been able to cut something that small with just a little grinder or a Sawzall. Nice. I mean, it's got slag, but if you knew how to use it, or maybe if I slowed down or set it the right way. Hey, I'm very satisfied with this thing. This one I went too fast in a couple spots. I'd have to run back through it. Well, let's see what happens if we can tighten it up. Probably not. We'll probably blow it apart, but it'd be cool to try. You're probably supposed to wait so long after each time, but hey, I like to put stuff past their paces. That's pretty neat. I like that. All right, let's try something a little thicker. It's got a built-in fan to keep it cool. Woo, stay with me, people. I'm trying. I'm new to all this too. Here's something really cool. Maybe I'll remember to show you, but I haven't used a plasma cutter in probably like 10 years since I was doing HVAC. But you can set this on a low setting, and you can sort of plas your name into something, almost like welding it, but it in-grooves it. So you can do your initials on your tools, because you know how that is on a job site. You spray paint it, but people can realistically wash that off if they try hard enough. You plas your initials into something, they can't. What are they gonna do? Weld that up, grind it down, make it look like new? No. So let's try something else here. We got a nice thick piece here. I don't know how well this one's gonna do, only on 110. but it's a nice size piece. So we'll leave the and turn the thing up. I think the direction said, bear with me. Let's see, 110. Oh, it says we can go up to 40 amp. Let's do it. We'll go to, no, 35 is all my things let me, so that thing sort of got a thing built in. That's cool. It won't let me go no higher. Let's see what she does. Uh oh, popped my breaker. So that might have been a little too much on 110. I also was slowing down and speeding up a little bit. That was my fault, people. I got a 20 amp breaker over there in the garage and we're trying to do, you know, crazy amperage here. So we'll go back down to 25 and see what she does. Well, it still cut through it. The edge is actually a little thicker than it should be. That's pretty impressive. That's on 25 amp with 45 psi of air. I said it's got some slag at the end, but that'll all come off. It won't be. That's a really actually nice cut for what this is. I'm impressed. For 250 bucks, like I said, it's not even 250 on the website. So that's pretty impressive so far. Now let's try to cut out a pumpkin. We're gonna put it on 20 amp. 36 psi. Let's see what we can do. The shield's nice. It makes it a little hard to see what you're cutting. Like, it's just, you know, it's in the way, but that's anything you freaking work with. Let's try it. neat is that? I mean, if you guys just wanted to make little metal art and stuff, it's worth it alone for that. You guys all wondering why we cut out a little tiny metal pumpkin. Look at this. Ooh, spooky. Wait, it's just that little guy making that big reflection? Pretty nifty. You guys can do that same thing for your wifeys and girlfriends. That's neat. This thing's pretty neat for, you know, what it costs. I'm not gonna lie, so far I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's cut through most of the stuff we wanted to cut through on 110, and it's under $250. I'm not gonna lie, I probably myself spend $500 a year on Sawzall blades and cutting wheels, and when I'm wrong, I'm gonna still need them now and then here and there, but I mean, the more you use it, the better you're gonna get. This was one of my first cuts, and that thing's not, like, it cut pretty freaking nice through there. It's a pretty smooth cut for what it is, and I mean, that stuff's 1/4 inch thick, and we cut it on 110 power. Don't get me wrong, it did pop my little 20 amp breaker, but it was a 20 amp breaker. Like, what do you expect, you know? I think it's pretty neat. Hey, wifey came out and said, why don't you, you know, plaz another one of them little shadow art things out? So we're gonna do another one of them and see how it turns out. Well, let's give it a shot. Yeah, I took the little guide off. I'm thinking it was optional. It came on and off. I just felt like that thing was catching me up a little bit. Like when I was coming around, I'd catch a little slag or I'd catch another piece, and I really couldn't see around it, which I probably won't be able to see around that much better. But check this out too. I just realized this. It's got like a little swivel point on the end of the, that's awesome. I don't know how many freaking power tools I have that the cord breaks at the end. That's pretty neat. I got it set to 20 amp. This is just some like sheet metal. You know, it's thin, like a floorboard on a vehicle. 37 PSI. Let's see what she does. Remember, the metal's gonna be hot. You're pretty much torching it. Well, I mean, you are torching it. There ain't no pretty much about it. Well, let's see what we can do with some hair. I don't know about you all, but that looks pretty nifty to me. Heck yeah, let's let it cool down a little bit, and we'll get some light on it and put it up on the wall. Okay, fellers, pay attention really closely. if you all need a reason, you know, to buy this thing, but you need that excuse for your wifey, check this out. And you can go out and cut old quarter panel off a vehicle and use that for your scrap metal. I mean, what wife's gonna tell you, no, you can't buy a $250 plasma cutter when you're making her cool art? And this is only for Halloween. I mean, you got Thanksgiving and Christmas. The possibilities are endless. It's all about how you ask the wifey. Pretty neat, huh? And that's just off a little light, just playing around. Imagine if you actually got a nice light. Look at it. You could just make them grow. Pretty neat. There. You put that out in your yard when the wind's blowing, and it's gonna look like you got creepy little kids walking through the field with a chainsaw and a hatchet. That's just cool. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Shadow casters. That's what it's called, fellers. Go let the wifey know. Show her this video. And I'll leave the link in the description. It's all up to you. Like I said, this is no kickback for me. They just sent me the product and said, give me an honest review. Well, my honest review for $250 is, yeah, it's worth it. I always wanted to buy one, but when you see the expensive ones up near 1,000 or more, and you see a cheap one for 250 or less, it makes you a little skeptical. You know, you don't want to blow money on a cheap freaking tool that don't work. But if you got an air compressor and you were thinking about getting a Plas, I would definitely, for the price, I definitely recommend it. If you're still skeptical, just, you know, keep watching my YouTube channel, because I'm sure I'm going to use this thing all the time, so we'll see how long it lasts. Look, fellers and fellettes, I mean, look how much they want for one of these. $35 for a little zombie boy and zombie girl, so you can make some money off of it. I don't know how well these things show up on the camera from a cell phone, but this thing's priced $259.99. I guess it's on sale right now for $235.99. And I'm sure there's some other coupon, or if you sign up you might get something. I really don't know. You guys would have to check it out. I don't have no code for you because, well, they didn't give me no code. Like I said, I get no kickback from this at all. It was just, they're like, hey, we want to send you this to do a review. And I was like, what? Plasma cutter? Oh boy, I always wanted one of them. Okay, I'll do a review on it, just because, what? How's a fella gonna pass up a plasma cutter for 8 hours worth of his time editing and doing a video and playing with it? So I'm having fun. I like it. It's cool. It's got a 4.6 star rating with 1,670 reviews. So I don't know. Y'all go check it out. I'll leave the link down in the description of the video, and you can see what you think. They got different models too. This is just the cheapy little model. They got upgraded bigger models. I don't know how they work, because, you know, they sent me the baby model, the little Btc500dp, but it works good. Plus, my 220 outlet's a different outlet thing, so I can't try that right now. Like I said, there's lots of other videos on this thing on there, so if you're really curious what it will do on the 220, you can go check them out. But if you guys are just trying to cut crazy thick steel all day, you probably want to spend big bucks on a name brand one anyways. This is, in my opinion, perfect for the hobbyists, you know, the backyard guy, somebody that's not going to use it all the time. Then again, I'm not saying that you couldn't use this 24/7. It's got a nice little case thing on it, you know. I like it. That's all I can say.